Hello students, welcome to my YouTube channel Physics in Classes. In this today's tutorial video, we are going to study about Standard 12th Physics Volume 1 Unit 2 Section 2.2, that is Ohm's Law. This topic is very small, that is why this video tutorial will be very small. Okay, so just listen and try to understand the things given here. Please subscribe my channel, like and share it, and hit the bell icon so that whenever I will upload a new video, you will get instant notification. Okay, so welcome to youtube.com/c/physicsclasses. Alright, so in our previous video, we have studied about microscopic model of current. In today's video, in this particular video, we will study about section 2.2, and that is Ohm's law. In previous class, we have studied about macroscopic formation or macroscopic view of Ohm's law. Here we will study this with the view of microscopic level. Fine. The Ohm's law can be derived from the equation J is equal to sigma E. About this we already have seen current density. Okay. Consider a segment of wire of length L and cross-sectional area A as given here. Okay. So let us enlarge this figure and see what are the terms given here first. So as you can see here, this is the complete picture of a conductor. Just imagine that this is a conductor, okay, having cross-sectional area A. Let me erase the thing so that you can visualize it better. Just a moment. Okay, all right. So here what is given is this is a conductor. This portion on your screen, you can see this is a conductor. Its cross-sectional area is A as given here, and the length of this conductor is L. Okay, means from this point to this point, its length is L, and there is an external electric field E. Okay, it is connected to a battery. Okay, and the battery will give a potential of V. Okay, and we know very well that the direction of flow of charges outside the battery will be from negative terminal then to the conductor and then again back to the positive terminal. Okay, this is the direction of flow of charges. Okay, so let us see what are the things given in the book. Okay, so when a potential difference V is applied, means the potential difference of the battery between its terminal is V, okay, is applied across the wire. A net electric field is created in the wire which constitutes the current. Means when potential difference V is applied to the conductor because of the battery, there will happen an electric field, and because of that electric field it will constitute the current. Means because of that electric field, the charges available freely inside the conductor will start moving from one position to other position in a particular direction. For simplicity, we assume that the electric field is uniform in the entire length of the wire. The potential difference is V, and it can be written as V is equal to E into L. That means potential difference V is equal to electric field E into the length of the given conducting material wire. Okay, we know very well that the magnitude of current density, that is J, is equal to sigma into E. Okay, or E is equal to, from this equation we will write E is equal to V by L. So just substitute the E value here, you will get J is equal to sigma into V by L. Okay, but from earlier equations we have seen that J is equal to, current density is equal to total current flowing in the conductor divided by total cross sectional area. Okay, so we can write J is equal to I by A. So the equation 2.14 will become like this, that I by A is equal to sigma into V by L. Okay, now rearranging this equation means we just have to find the value of V. Okay, so here this term will go in numerator and this term will come in denominator. Then V is equal to I into L by sigma into A. Okay, fine. The quantity L by sigma into A is called resistance of the conductor and is denoted by capital R. Okay, total length divided by charge density or current density divided by area. Okay, so this is called as resistance of the given conductor. Note that the resistance is directly proportional to the length of the conductor and inversely proportional to the cross sectional area. Okay, that means suppose if you have a wire, okay, of any conducting material whose length is L and cross-sectional area is A, and in that situation resistance will be directly proportional to L. That means if the length of the wire will increase, resistance will increase and vice versa, and also resistance is inversely proportional to cross-sectional area. That means if the cross-sectional area of the given wire will increase, resistance will decrease and vice versa. Okay. Therefore, the macroscopic form of Ohm's law can be stated as V is equal to IR, and this term you already have studied in the previous classes. Okay. From this equation 2.16, we conclude that the resistance is the ratio of potential difference across the given conductor to the current passing through the conductor. That means R is equal to V by I. Its SI unit is ohm and is written as something like this. Okay. Okay. Then from this equation 2.16, we infer that the graph between current versus voltage is a straight line with a slope equal to inverse of the resistance R2 of the conductor as shown in figure 2.8. You can see here in this figure, on x-axis we have potential and on y-axis we have current I. Okay, then slope is equal to 1 by R. Okay, or the slope is inverse of the resistance of the conductor, and this graph shows that the conductor is following Ohm's law. Okay, if the graph is a straight line between V and I, okay, that means the conductor follows Ohm's law. There are many other conductors, okay, like semiconductors or superconductors, which do not follow the Ohm's law. In that situation, the graph will be parabolic. We will see that later. So as you can see in this figure 2.8b, okay, that the graph between V and I, okay, it is a parabola. Okay, means there are some devices, okay, or materials which are conductor but they do not follow Ohm's law. Okay, so that type of devices are called as non-ohmic devices, and conductors are called as non-ohmic conductors, like superconductors or like semiconductors. We will see those types of materials and devices in unit 9, second volume of your curriculum. Okay. All right. Now, materials for which the current against voltage graph is a straight line through the origin are said to obey Ohm's law, and their behavior is said to be ohmic behavior as shown in figure 2.8a above. Okay, and those materials or devices which do not follow Ohm's law, or whose graph between current and voltage is not a straight line, those types of materials are called as non-ohmic materials. These materials have more complex relationship between voltage and current. When in unit 9 you will study about diodes, triodes, okay, then Zener diode, V and I characteristic, a lot of things you will study there, and based on that you have to do 6 practicals. A plot of current against voltage for non-ohmic material is non-linear, okay, that is parabolic, and that they do not follow a constant resistance. Means as the voltage will increase, okay, current will increase but not in a constant manner, okay, a parabolic manner. Fine. Alright, so this is all about Ohm's law in microscopic form. In our next tutorial video, we will study about section 221, that is about resistivity. About resistance we have seen right now, okay, and then about resistivity we will see in our next video, okay. Then how resistance changes with respect to other physical parameters like current, length of wire, cross-sectional area of wire, okay, and how it is related to resistivity and permittivity we will see in next video tutorial. Till next video, take care of yourself. Bye bye.